So we are with the head coach of the Sudanese national team. He's no new person to all of us. Former coach of the senior national team, the Black Stars, edged us out in 2 games in the qualifiers. Sudan picked 4 points from Ghana in those AFCON qualifiers. And that's why we're not here, and that's why they are here. But to make it more interesting, Akwasi Appiah has led the Sudanese team to the round of 16 by virtue of the results in Group A and in Group B. We're privileged to be in the team hotel of Sudan to pick his thoughts on Sudan's progress in the last couple of years, especially with all the challenges that the Sudanese people are facing back home. Coach, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thank you so much for making time to be with us.
Yeah.
Sudan had not won a game at the AFCON since 2012. 13 years later, you managed to get them win a game at the AFCON in the second round of group games you played against your opponents. What was the feeling like when you won that game?
First of all, our first game against Algeria, it's really unfortunate that we had one man down, and that affected our style of play. And for that reason, actually, we lost the game. So going into the next game, the ambition was to make sure we try, no matter what, to get a win. And most of the time, we psych the players to the level where they think we are not just going there to play football. We're just going out there. Anything that we need to do to make our people happy back home. For the past 2 years, that's one of the psyching aspects that I've been using, for the players to think about those back home. So when we went against Equatorial Guinea, the intention was to, no matter what, try to get a win. First, to boost our qualifying our ability to qualify. Then secondly, to make the people of Sudan, happy. I mean, as you said, for some time now, they've not won any game in the AFCON, and for them to win is a step, and that will lead us, to help us to qualify for the next round.
You talked about the first game against Algeria and that 3-0 scoreline. Was that in any way something that affected the psyche of the boys going into the game against Equatorial Guinea?
Yeah, exactly, because most of the players were really down after the game because we never expected that. We knew Algeria is a good team, but there's no way they could beat us 3-0. And as you all know, when you are a man down, tactically it destroys the tactical approach of the team. And looking at our team, most of them are not that experienced. Unfortunately, we have only 2 professionals playing in Malaysia. And when you're dealing with such situations, especially playing with 10 men, you actually need players who are composed, who can hold on to the ball and tactically defend when we've lost the ball. But our level is not to that level, but I think the ambition was to try to limit the scoreline. But unfortunately, we considered. But as you said, the most important thing was to side them and get them to the level where they should just forget about what has happened and then think about the next game. So that's the most important game, ahead of us.
I saw you barking and screaming instructions in Casablanca when you played against Equatorial Guinea. Even at the point where you were leading, I could still see you and your technical team still barking out instructions. What is it about ensuring that you get your tactics very, very, close to your players to ensure that they are able to implement the things that you want them to do?
Yeah, actually, I was having issue with my backroom staff because I asked them to do a change and they were delaying the change by saying that every coach, when you're playing and you're winning and tactically you think there's 1 or 2 changes that you can do to strengthen your defense, automatically you try and do that. And that was the delay which was actually making me angry. But saying that once we're able to implement the changes that can strengthen your midfield and your defense, then automatically you then rely on counter-attacks, and that was exactly what we were doing.
Do you think that your players, by virtue of the fact that a number of them play for Al Hilal and a number of them play for Al Marek as well, has given you that experience that you would want your players to have at a very high level?
No, I think that I've gained a lot from Ghana, coaching the national team, being assistant for some time. I learned a whole lot of things at that level because in Ghana we're dealing with top players. And that has actually helped me when dealing with the Hila or the Merrick players. They actually are not that top class players. And saying that I've used some of the experiences that I gained in Ghana, and that's why I implement here. And I think most of the things are helping a lot. With the psychological aspects, the roles that I need to give to individual players, the roles that I need to give the whole team, So most of the time, in actual fact, the psychological aspect is really, really high in the sense that sometimes we'll be in camp and a family, one might lose a family member in the war, and it brings down the morale of such players, and we need to stick around the player, and console him and get him to play. Maybe might be playing the next day or so. So all these are things that have been happening almost every time. But and on top of it, with the Sudan situation, we've tried. In fact, if you are not really patient, there's no way you can be a coach of Sudan. And then secondly, the players have been signed to the level where they all know, look, it's not about money now. It's about how can we sacrifice because our nation is in a war-torn, and for that reason, we need to do something to at least let the people back home smile a bit. Because I remember when we played against Ghana and we won for about a week, all the soldiers, they put down their guns and everybody was celebrating, back home in Sudan. And for me, that's something that makes me happy and actually makes all the players also happy. So putting smiles on the faces of all Sudanese is one of the ambitions of every player here.
How big a thing is it for you that you are leading Sudan to make history? There's a video that is trending out there, I don't know if you've seen it, of the Sudanese fan who says that beyond God, Akwasi Appiah is probably the greatest person in Sudan right now because you've qualified the team to the round of 16. How do you feel about things like this?
I've been in Sudan, it's 2017, and the people of Sudan actually like football. They love football, just like Ghana. So in this desperation, they need something that can make them happy. And speaking to them or being around them, anytime we win a game, you see so many happiness around. And anywhere that we've gone, we meet a lot of Sudanese people there, and they are really, they never actually expected their country to reach where we are. And it brings me back to, I remember when the Sudanese FA called me to sign me in. They were like, oh, just come. Now there's war in the country. Just try and build a team. And I said, no, I don't believe in that. If it's just about training or building the team, then I'm sorry, I'm not signing it. So they said, oh, why, coach? They thought that would make me happy. I said, no, there should be targets, like qualify for CHAN, qualify for Arab Cup, qualify for He said, no, we were thinking otherwise. I said, look, if that will be your ambition, then fine, I'll sign. If not, I said, okay. They said, okay, then, So they agreed and they decided to follow me. But at the end of the day, I sat down, I speak. We were able to qualify to Chan and we got to semi-finals. We were able to go to, Arab Cup. We were qualified for AFCON. And at least for some time now, as you said, they've not qualified from the group stage. And we've been able to do it. So it's brought a whole lot of joy in their hearts, even though they are not in their hometown. It's made them happy. And I keep saying that is one of the things that for me makes me happy. Once they are happy and people are enjoying outside the war in their country, that's really good.
There are many Sudanese that I have met on the streets in Casablanca who are believing that with this newfound energy in the team, you can even go farther than you would have thought. At this point, because of what happened in the Group A matches and the other groups yesterday, Sudan have qualified to the next stage. How far do you think the Sudanese team can go?
No, Sudan has a very good team. I mean, they have some mental strength that sometimes it baffles me. But I think that now that we've qualified, we are aiming at the ultimate. We are actually not aiming like, oh, let's go to get out of the round stage or get out of the round 16. From the start, I told them, look, we are not just here to participate. We are here as same as every team to win the trophy. So that should be your mission. So, and irrespective of whatever team we're meeting, and since 2 years that I took over, that's what I did put in their head. So we will take a game as it comes, but at the end of the day, the ambition is the ultimate.
Let's look at yourself and your backroom staff as well. Ignatius Fusu clearly is there. What is it like to translate your ideas to your players? I tried to engage a number of them. I only had one player speaking English to me in very clear terms. How are you able to transmit your ideas to them, especially you and Ignatius? I don't know if you speak Arabic now.
I actually don't speak Arabic. It's only Ignatius who understands a bit of him. But the good thing is many of the players do understand English. But where they're having issues, there's an interpreter who translates everything to them. And football language is one, especially when they're playing, and you want to send a message across. It's easy because once you're there, as I said, many of them do understand. So it's a matter of calling one of them who understands, and then you send the message across. But whenever we are around, there are I would say more than 10 players do understand English. So that actually helping me a lot. Or like situation where you said, if there had not been any English-speaking player in the team, that would have been a problem. Maybe they would have automatically get me an interpreter to be moving around. But I've been using the players themselves, and it works out perfectly.
On the back of your achievements with the team in this very short time, if the head of the Sudanese FA came to you after this interview and said, Kwasi, you've done so well for our team, you've brought a lot of smiles and happiness to our people, this is a contract, sign the duration, 10 years, 20 years, whatever you want, put it there, would you be prepared to do that?
In actual fact, I'm getting old now. I'm getting old now. It's important whatever you can do whilst you have some strength in you. You try the best that you can to do it. irrespective of whether I'm in Sudan or wherever I am. Um, my family wants me to even stop the coaching because I've gotten to a level where it's not just about money. You know, if it's just about money, I would just go back home and stay home and relax. But this work that God has given me, this work that I've learned from infancy, and I try to put out there what I can do to help. And as I said, it's really difficult to talk about a contract of more years, but they've sat down with me actually, trying to extend the contract, but I'm looking at it. Hopefully, when we finish the competition, I will decide whether to continue or, otherwise.
Beyond Sudan, I'm sure you are watching other games as far as this competition is concerned. Generally, what would you make of the standard of the African game now?
Well, the African game is really developing really fast. The good thing is, if I know you do monitor all the other things, all the other countries, apart from Sudan, they are almost the full squad that they brought playing in Europe. So the good thing is the experiences that they gain from Europe, they bring it down here and then expose it. And I think it actually also helps when you have a lot of players coming from Europe and they actually mix up with even the locals, or the locals see how they play. Automatically, when they go for training, or even in Ghana, you can see now it's developing more slowly. Unlike before, where when you start in the game, they will just be hitting the ball. But now they do put the ball down, and develop the attack from defense. So, and all these things you actually learn from the way they play in Europe. So, it's making the game really difficult, beautiful, and I think it's something that I don't know how we can continue with this process. I understand there is going to be, what do you call it, African League or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know whether it involves those from Europe. If the players from Europe are joining, fine. But I don't know whether they're going to limit it to players in Africa alone. And I think whenever the players from Europe, they join their colleagues back home, it helps. I don't know if they can limit or they could put a quota on it so that there should be a mixture of those from Europe and then those from Africa. That will help, the local league to get some players in there. They can learn something and then bring them back to their clubs.
Which teams have impressed you so far here, and which teams do you think can possibly go all the way to win it?
In actual fact, it's really difficult to talk about any team now, because all the teams are playing really good. Even those that are expected, that they will play higher than the level will be much higher than the rest of them. They are not playing that high, So that shows that all African countries are picking up in football. So it's difficult to pinpoint any team at the moment.
We can't finish this interview without talking about Ghana. I met a few Ghanaians who live here, work here, school here, do all kinds of things here, and clearly they are disappointed. And some of them even say, it is because of Akwasi Appiah, that's why we are not here. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I think that even because of me, Ghana, we sat up, we changed our mentality about the World Cup. Because when we realized that Ghana is not qualifying for the AFCON, that is where the agency or people, everybody got on board, to find enemies to make sure we qualify for the World Cup. And I think the World Cup is the most highest, when you talk about football. So it should be rather the opposite way. I actually, because they were out, that made them sit down, to think about the World Cup. Even I think if they had the thinking that okay, we go into the AFCON, maybe the thinking about the World Cup with the agency to prepare very well for the World Cup would have been limited, and so it should be the other way around. I helped Ghana, to prepare very well, to qualify for the World Cup.
Let me ask you a final question. There's a statement attributed to South African coach Hugo Broos, who is saying that compared to Ivory Coast, for example, it looks like the Moroccans are not really into the competition. He doesn't feel the vibe. Do you feel that way too? Or for you, you're feeling the vibe with the AFCON?
AFCON has always been like that. AFCON, you see, most of the time, it also depends. If, for instance, the competition is being staged around center of Africa, for instance, or even West Africa, where the countries are a bit closer, they are able to come and support their team. But traveling to Morocco with the visas and, it's always difficult, to get supporters here. And automatically, if I'm a Moroccan, I would like to watch my Moroccan game, not matches which does not concern Morocco. So that might be the reason. But I think the more the team progresses, the more they will try and get their supporters here to be behind them.
Any final words you want to share with us?
No, I would like to thank the Sudanese supporters. I mean, wherever we go, no matter how small they are all calm and, cheer the team. Especially when we went to Qatar for the Arab Cup. I was even surprised to see the number of Sudanese over there. The whole stadium was filled. And when we played in Rabat, was it in Rabat that we played? Oh, in Casablanca here, we all saw the number of Sudanese who came to be behind their team. We actually thank them, and we hope that they will keep coming, because the reason why we're playing this game is to make them happy. So once they are behind us, it will give us high morale, to fight to the end, and we will not let them down.
And I'm sure you're paying attention to Kotoko as well.
I have no choice, because I'm part of the AMC, and we thank God that they are also picking up. It won't be easy, especially the second round, so I'm hoping that we try and pick up. The first round, some of them had just come to the team and they needed time, and that's one of the key problems that worries us. Sometimes you don't have the patience but I understand they now picking up slowly. I hope the second round they are able to play and make the Otunfo happy, and everyone who supports Kotoko also happy back home.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
So that was the head coach of the Sudanese national team, one of our own, James Akwasi Appiah, leading this team to the round of 16. We as Ghanaians would wish that the Sudanese really progress as far as this competition is concerned, go as far as they can, and that we can only wish them well.